Hello everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
That's good. Hello, I am Miss Asmaa Mahmoud, science teacher. I'm gonna to be with you today, so I hope to spend a cheerful time with each other. Now I want to get to know you, so can everyone tell me his name?
Okay. My name is Joyria.
Hello, Joyria.
My name is Safiya.
Sophia?
Yes. أنا بس داخلة من تليفون ماما النهاردة.
مفيش مشكلة، يبقى احنا دلوقتي معانا جويرية وصفية، صح كده؟
أيوة. Yes.
Okay. That's good. Okay, there are some picture against you in the screen. Can you tell me about it? What is in this picture?
Fish. Fish.
Sea. Okay, that's a sea. Good.
Ocean.
Can you tell me what are the living organisms that live in the sea?
Fish. And
Answer. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you want to answer, raise your hand. No, raise your hand from the application. Okay. Juwayriya, what are the living organisms that live in the sea?
Fish.
Fish. And what else?
And the shark.
And shark. What else? معلش البنت التانية قالت لي اسمك ايه عشان اسمك مش ظاهر عندي هنا. صفية. صفية, can you tell me what are the living organisms that live in the sea?
Seahorse,
Octopus.
and
shark, jellyfish.
Shark.
Super. So we said that some living organisms live in the sea, like the octopus, like the starfish, like the fish, like shark, like all this are living organisms that live in the sea. But first of all, do you know what is the meaning of living organisms? Okay, let me tell you. Living organisms are the things that can breathe, that can eat, that can grow up, that can give birth, all the things. So living organisms are the things that can live. It's not dead things, but it's living things. Okay, but what are the non-living things? It's the things that can't breathe, can't eat, can't grow up, can't give birth. It's like dead things. Okay, so some non-living things in the sea also, like the soil. This is the soil, and some rocks. So we have the sea and some non-living things and some living organisms. They interact with each other to making like the system. So what is the system? The system, like there is some living organisms and non-living things interact with each other to make the system. Okay, and we already take the first system we have is the sea. The sea, the first system that we take today, the sea. This is the second one. What is this in the picture? Can you tell me?
Desert.
What?
Desert.
Desert, okay. In where the camel live and some plants live and some other animals live. So we have an environment like the desert, and we have some living organisms like the camel and some other animals, and we have non-living things. The living organisms interact with the non-living things in an environment. This environment is called desert to make the system. So we took two systems today. The first one is the sea, and the second one is the desert.
The desert.
في حد
The desert.
ايه؟
Uh,
Okay, this is a desert. Third one. Did you see Tarzan cartoon before?
Tarzan. No.
No. Who see it?
Me. Sophia.
صفية، انت شفتيه قبل كده؟
Yes. In the cartoon.
In where Tarzan was living?
Of course.
In the forest. In where? In the forest. In the forest, there's many plants, many animals like the lions, the cheetah, the monkeys, and many plants live in the forest. Okay, so we have some living organisms like some animals, cheetah, lion, plants. But are the plants living organisms or non-living things? Who can say?
Non-living.
How about we water the plant every day to grow, right?
Yes.
So it is living or non-living?
Living.
Living, excellent. All of you, excellent. So there are many living organisms like the plants, the lion, many animals interact with non-living things like the soil, like the rocks, like many other things, non-living, in an environment like the forest, okay, to represent the system. So we take three systems today. The first one, the sea, second one, desert, and the third, forest. All of them have living organisms and non-living things that interact together in an environment, okay?
Okay.
So can you tell me what is the meaning of system? System.
Is
Living,
or
right?
okay.
And non
And
living,
non-living organisms.
living organisms with non-living things interact together in environment to make a system. Okay?
Okay.
So our concept today is about the systems and how the living organisms adapt and survive in this system. Okay? Adapt means what? Means to use the characteristics in myself, to use the properties on my body, to use the surrounding condition, to use the things around me, to remain alive as long as possible, to get my needs, to protect myself. Do you understand me? And survive. What's the meaning of survive? Survive means remain as long as possible. Okay? So our lesson today is about the adaptations and survival. Adaptations means to use the characteristic in my body, to use the surrounding conditions, to use the things around me to get my needs, to remain alive as long as possible. And what is the meaning of survive? Who is talking?
Sophia.
What do you want?
To survive.
You didn't understand the meaning of, you didn't understand the meaning of survive?
No, I know. To
Okay.
live.
قولي لي مش فاهمة، عايزة ايه طيب؟ في حاجة مش فاهماها؟
No.
اوكي أكمل؟
ماشي.
ماشي، يبقى احنا كنا بنقول ايه؟ كنا بنقول our lesson today is about the adaptations and survival. What is the meaning of adaptation? To use the characteristic in my body, the properties in my body, and use the surrounding conditions and use the things around me to survive. And what is the meaning of survive? To remain alive as long as possible. يعني من الآخر كده adaptations and survival means إن أنا بستخدم أي حاجة حواليا، بستخدم ال properties in my body، بستخدم الحاجات اللي في جسمي ليه to remain alive علشان أفضل عايشة as long as possible. Okay? And this is our lesson today. تمام. With differences in the systems, many difference occurs in many other things. Like what? يعني مع اختلاف ال systems بيحصل اختلاف في other things. Like what? Like the temperature. In the desert, is it hot like the desert, or is it cold, kind of cold like the sea? Okay? Amount of water. There is a lake of water like the desert, or a lot of water like the coastal environments. Coastal environment is the environment against the beach. You know what? يا بنات اللي فاتح المايك يقفلوا إلا لو في حاجة مش فاهمها. Okay, availability of food. Lack of food like the desert. You know the camel eats food over a long period of time and he stores it in his big back. You know what? You know that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
like big back. He eats the food when he meet any food, he eat it and store it in his bag as fats to use when he need, right? Or there is a lot of food like the forests. There are many trees of the fruits in the forests. Okay. Availability of shelter. Do you know the meaning of shelter? Shelter means the home of the animals. Okay. Like we have a home and the home of the animal is called shelter. So what is the meaning of shelter? The home of animals. Super. Like what? Like the cave. Some animals lives in the cave, and some other animals. Did you saw Nemo cartoon?
لا بس عشان الشاحن عشان مش مفهوم.
Okay, this is a coral reefs. Coral reefs اللي بيعيش فيها الفيش. Okay. يا بنات اللي فاتح المايك يقفله إلا لو في حاجة مش فاهمها أو بيجاوب بس يفتح المايك. Okay, there are some pictures against you in the screen. These are some living organisms that protect itself from the heat of the sun, okay? How can they do it? How can every one of the living organisms protect itself from the heat of the sun? If you look at the first picture, this is what? This is a gamma lizard that lives in the desert, protect itself from the heat of the sun by finding a shaded area in the hot sunny day. This means what? This means the shaded area means like the area has no sun. And there is no sun in this area. If you look at the picture, you will understand, okay? So, a gamma lizard protect itself from the heat of the sun by finding a shaded area, like area without any sun, to protect itself in the hot sunny day. Okay, as a humans, we are humans. What are the things that we did or we do every day if it's very hot? Who can tell me? Look at this picture, the middle one. Yes. What?
I have the umbrella.
Umbrella. We use the umbrella to protect our heads from the heat of the sun, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we wear light clothes, right?
Right.
Okay, let's take the third picture. What is this? These are some palm leaves. This is a palm leaves. Why are they very bright, very shiny? You know, because it's covered or coated with a waxy layer. It's coated with a waxy layer to protect itself from the hot of the sun, okay? So we mentioned the 3 living organisms that protect themselves from the hot sun, okay? The first one, a gamma lizard by finding a shaded area, and the humans by use the umbrella, and the palm leaves by the waxy layer. protected and covered to protect itself from the heat of the sun. Okay? Is everything clear? Is everything clear? Anyone didn't understand anything? Anyone didn't understand anything I said?
No.
Okay, who's talking?
Teacher.
Who's talking؟ مين اللي بيتكلم يا ولاد؟
Me, جويرية.
جويرية. طيب سلمى.
أنا مش فاهمة الحتة دي. يعني مش فاهمة الجزئية دي.
ماشي اوكي. احنا كنا بنقول ايه؟ طب امسحي يا جويرية اللي انت عملتيه.
جويرية.
امسحي جويرية اللي انت عملتيه واقفلي المايك عشان اشرحها لك. طيب دلوقتي احنا كنا بنقول ان دي ايه؟ animal is called starred agama lizard. يبقى احنا عندنا ده animal اسمه ايه؟ اسمه starred agama lizard. where they live. هما بيعيش فين؟ بيعيش في الديزرت. اوكي؟ in the desert is very hot sun. So how they protect. يا جويرية اقفلي المايك. جويرية اقفلي المايك.
مش أنا
سلمى.
تيتشر.
اوكي خلاص تمام. معايا جويرية دلوقتي؟
يس.
احنا كنا بنتكلم دلوقتي على ايه؟ على الستارد اجاما ليزرد اللي هي بتعيش فين؟ بتعيش في الديزرت. في الديزرت very hot. طيب ازاي بقى الستارد اجاما ليزرد بتحمي نفسها من الهوت اوف ذا صن؟ من الهيت اوف ذا صن تعمل ايه؟ finding a shaded area. يعني بتقف في مكان ما فيهوش شمس. تمام؟ هي بتدور على shaded area يعني مكان ما فيهوش شمس، مكان ضلة to protect itself from the heat of the sun.
اوكي.
تمام؟
صح يا ميس.
Did you understand it?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone didn't understand anything I said?
عايزة أقولك سؤال.
ايه قولي.
هي الانيمال lizard بتعيش في الديزرت الشديد؟
هي بتعيش في الديزرت اوكي بس sometimes it's very hot in the desert. يعني في بعض الأوقات بيبقى الشمس قوية جدا في الديزرت دي. هي بتعمل ايه؟ هي بتدور على حتة ضلة في وسط الديزرت وتستخبى فيها. زي مثلا بتدور على حاجة زي شجرة زي اللي في البيكتشر دي كده وتستخبى تحتها.
ماشي.
تمام كده؟
فهمت.
تمام. في حد تاني مش فاهم يا ولاد؟ طيب فاطمة.
أنا اسمي مريم.
اسمك مريم؟ في حاجة مش فاهماها طيب يا مريم؟ طيب البالم ليفز ازاي بتحمي نفسها from the heat of the sun؟ قولي لي كده. حتى قريها من it's covered with waxy layer. اوكي؟ طيب اقفلي طيب المايك. يا سلمى اقفلي المايك.
ماشي.
اوكي طيب لو في اي حد مش فاهم اي حاجة يقول لي. يبقى كده all the previous are living organisms protect itself from the heat of the sun by different ways to protect themselves. These different ways as known as adaptations. ايه هي الادابشنز اللي احنا قلناها في الاول؟ ان دلوقتي living organisms did يعني do everything to remain alive as long as possible. يعني دلوقتي انا living organism and I want to remain alive as long as possible. What will I do? I will protect myself from anything. I will eat. I will breathe. If I make like this, I can't breathe. I will die, right? So What is adaptations? It's the characteristic or the properties in my body. It is the everything around me that I use to remain alive as long as possible. So I want to define now the meaning of adaptation. What is the adaptations? They are the characteristics that help the living organisms to survive and reproduce in the ecosystem in which they live. Okay, this means what؟ يعني هي الكاركترستكس الموجودة في الليفنج organisms بتعمل ايه؟ بتساعدهم علشان to survive. يعني ايه survive؟ To remain alive as long as possible and reproduce. If I live for a long period of time, I will give birth many times and reproduce. Reproduce means to give birth many times. So from here the generations come. يعني الأجيال بتيجي من إيه؟ من إحنا we live and we reproduce, give birth many times. The generations comes from here. Okay? And what is the meaning of ecosystems or ecosystem? We already said before when we was talking about the system in the first of the session. We said it's an area in which the living organisms and non-living things interact with each other. Okay? Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. The second one. Okay, against you in the screen, there are some pictures. Actually, there are two pictures. The first one, let me ask you a question. Can you stand on ice in bare feet for about 5 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Did you try it before?
No.
Yes.
If you tried, it's very hard to do it.
No.
In bare feet means يعني, like the feet without anything in it, like the feet without slippers, without shoes, without anything. If you stand
Yes. Yes.
without the slipper for 5 minutes, it's very hard to do it. You can't do it. Okay?
Yes.
But
Yes.
can the penguin stand on the ice for a long period of time? This is a penguin. This is
Yes.
a penguin.
Yes.
Can the penguin stand on ice for a long
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Because the penguin live in a cold environment, very cold environment. So penguin adapt to live in this environment. Okay, all of you understand the meaning of adapt now?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay. لو في أي حد مش فاهمها يقول لي عشان يعني نشرحها تاني قبل ما ننتقل على الجزئية الجاية.
What? Okay.
اوكي؟ تمام. طيب. يبقى احنا قلنا penguins live in the very cold environment, so he adapted to live in it. How? What is the first thing that will comes to your mind if I ask you what's the needs of the penguin? البنجوين محتاج ايه اصلا؟ هو محتاج ايه؟ It's very cold, so he needs
محتاج
to keep it warm, to stay
Yes.
warm all the day, right?
Yes.
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay, so to ask you a question. Look at this picture and tell me, can you describe the penguin's body? What is this? This is a big tummy, right?
White and black.
He has
Yes.
a big tummy because he's very fat. He's very fat.
That.
If you take a close look at the penguin's body, what is this? They have like a feathers. This is a feathers. Like the birds, right? The feathers. اللي هو الفيذرز دي اللي هي الريش. Okay?
Okay.
So they have a feathers like all the birds. But unlike most of the birds, the penguin can't fly. And he has feathers, but he can't fly. But they can stand on ice all the day. Okay, if you take a close look at the penguin's feet, it's very unique, it's very different, right?
Yes, teacher.
Different. Okay, we already said that the penguin need to be warm all the day because it's very cold, and that's what we will know it from the adaptation. In every example for the adaptation in our session, we want to know 4 things. The first one, the name of the living organism. In this example, the name of it is penguin. Okay, the second thing that I want to know in every example, the habitat. The habitat means in where the living organism live. اوكي، يعني ايه habitat؟ يعني فين الليفنج اورجانيزم ده بيعيش. تمام، يبقى انا دلوقتي عرفت النيم بتاعه، عرفت الهابيتات. ثالث حاجه ان انا عايزه اعرف الاكزامبلز for the adaptations، يعني how the living organism adapt to survive in this environment, and in every adaptation I want to know why. Okay, let's know it now. What are the adaptation for the penguins? First of all, its habitat. يعني هو عايش فين؟ The penguins live in Antarctica, and it's one of the coldest places on the earth. Okay? Okay, its body. Its body is covered with 2 things to keep it warm all the day. The first one, thick downy feathers. This is the feather if you look at. Okay? And the second one, thick layer of fat. So he's very fat. He has thick layer of fat. Okay, its feet, it has no fat. If you look at its feet, okay, it has no fat. It has no feathers, but it can walk on ice all the day. How can the penguin's feet stand on ice all the day and keep it warm? It can stay warm due to the way of moving the blood in the blood vessels through the penguin's feet. Okay, you didn't understand it. Let's explain it more. running out of time. هو تقريبا الزوم هو هيفصل بعد شوية. اوكي، فهنشوف بقى ساعتها. بس انا عايز اتاكد يعني ان كلكم معايا، صح؟ كلكم سامعيني؟
Yes, teacher.
Okay, focus well with me in this point because it's so hard. يعني مش قوي بس هنفهم، هي سهلة ان شاء الله. تمام؟ طيب احنا كنا بنقول دلوقتي ان البنجوين's feet stand on ice all the day. How they can keep it warm؟ ده اللي احنا هنعرفه دلوقتي. ماشي؟ طيب أول حاجة, we already said that the penguin's body is coated or is covered with layer of fat and layer of feathers to keep it warm. So the blood vessels inside the penguin's body have no warm color, warm blood or cold blood.
Warm blood.
Warm blood. But you know the meaning of vessels, right?
Yes.
If anyone don't know the meaning of vessels, the vessels is like the colorful tubes in our hands. You know it? This is a vessel.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, like this. Like this. This is a vessel. Colorful tubes that have the blood. So we said that penguin's body is covered or is coated with a layer of fat and layer of feathers to keep its body warm all the day. So the blood vessels inside the penguin's body have warm blood, right?
Right.
Okay, and we said also that the penguin's feet stand on ice all the day. So the blood vessels inside its feet have warm color, warm blood or cold blood.
Warm,
Warm blood.
warm blood.
Warm blood.
The penguin's feet stand on ice all the day. The penguin's feet stand on ice all the day. So the blood vessels inside its feet have cold blood, right?
Warm blood.
No. احنا قلنا ايه يا ولاد؟ قلنا البنجوين's body have warm blood. ليه؟ عشان هو is coated with الفيدرز والفات. لكن بقى الايه؟ الفيت اللي هي رجل البنجوين stand on ice all the day.
Yes.
يبقى هي have cold blood.
Yes.
Did you understand it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. The blood vessels inside the body bring the cold blood from the feet up. ماشي؟ يعني دلوقتي البلاد فيزلز الموجودة في البادي bring الايه الكولد بلاد اللي هو في الايه في الفيت اللي هو cold, right? And other blood vessels in the feet bring the warm blood down. يعني هم من الآخر بيبدلوا البادي have ايه have warm blood والفيت have cold blood. اللي بيحصل البادي bring the cold blood up and the feet bring the warm blood down. Okay? The blood vessels weave around each other, weave like this around each other. So the warm blood vessels heat up the cold blood vessels, so the heat transfer to the penguin's feet. ها مين فهمها؟ مين فهمها يقولها لي تاني. مين؟
فهمت يا ميس، عايزة أقول لك question.
ماشي قولي.
هي ال warm blood vessels heat up the cold blood.
أيوه.
يعني هي بتعمل كده.
يعني دلوقتي لو أنا معايا say معايا a piece of ice ومعايا like a cup of tea وحطيتهم جنب بعض، ايه اللي هيحصل؟
البلاد الهيت يعني الهيت هيعمل كل بلاد يعني هيت كده.
طيب I'm asking you a question, another question. If I bring a piece of ice لو جبت قطعة من التلج and a cup of tea and put it together, mix them together يعني لزقتهم في بعض touch each other، ايه اللي هيحصل؟ مش الايس will melt؟ مش الايس هيسيح؟
يا ميس.
ليه؟ علشان اللي هي الكاب of tea heat up the ice so the heat transfer from the cup of tea to the ice, right?
Right.
In the same
Right.
in the same thing, the cold blood vessels weave around the warm blood vessels. اللي هيحصل الورم اللي هو الدافي heat up الكولد، الورم هيدفي الايه الكولد. So the heat الحرارة will transfer from the hot or from the warm to the cold, right?
Right.
Right يا
Will
ميس.
transfer, so the heat will transfer from the body to the feet.
To the feet.
Okay, who can say it again? مين يعرف يقولها تاني؟ قولها in Arabic, in English, in the way that you want. أي حاجة. Who is raising his hand?
Me.
مين؟
أنا
مين؟
جويرية.
مين اللي بيتكلم طيب يقولها لي؟
جويرية.
طيب قولي يا جويرية، ازاي the penguin's feet stay warm all the day؟
ممكن أقولها بالعربي؟
ماشي قوليها.
الكولد الساقع
أساعدك؟
اوكي.
اوكي احنا قلنا أول حاجة إن البنجوين's body is coated or covered، يعني البنجوين's body متغطي بإيه؟
بحاجتين.
اللي هما أول حاجة layer of fat، layer of fat اللي هي طبقة من الدهون and
يا ميس،
أيوه
هي معاها thick layer of fat كده عشان يعني يكون لها warm لما تكون في التلج.
صح. مين بقى اللي بيتكلم دلوقتي؟
سلمى.
ماشي شطورة يا سلمى، بس دلوقتي جويرية كانت بتجاوب. اوكي ماشي يلا يا جويرية. كنا بنقول ايه؟ كنا بنقول ان البنجوين's body have two things to stay warm. اول حاجة اللاير اوف فات، وتاني حاجة take down feathers اللي هو الريش، صح؟
Yes.
So the blood vessels inside the body is have warm blood or cold blood?
Warm blood.
Warm blood, super. ماشي. وبعد كده قلنا ان البنجوينز بقى البنجوينز فيت مالها؟
cold blood.
have cold blood. ليه؟ علشان واقفة على ايه؟
على الثلج.
على الايس all the day. برافو. ايه اللي بيحصل؟ البلاد فيزلز الموجودة في البادي ايه بتعمل برينج او بتجيب البلاد منين؟ من الفيت.
من الفيت
to the body.
yes.
طيب والفيت بتجيب الدم منين؟
من من body
body تنزله تحت في الفيت. إيه اللي بيحصل بقى؟ البلاد فيزلز مالها لامسين بعض كده.
yes.
داخلين في بعض صح؟
yes.
فالهيت ترانسفير منين لمنين؟ من الهوت.
من الهوت to the cold.
super. So it transfer من البادي to
the feet.
برافو جدا. يبقى هو في الآخر الورمز بتنتقل من البادي to the feet. So the feet can stay warm all the day and can stand on the ice all the day.
Okay.
Let me ask you some question to make sure that you understood all the previous. ماشي. Penguins' feet help them survive in cold climate. We already say it now. Penguins' body help it to survive in the cold. The same thing. And answer it in the way that you want. يعني don't memorize like حاجة معينة ونقعد